It's January 10th, 2021. This is my new sun day. This is my practice. For many years now, guided by this loving presence. And this presence has changed me, taught me things, and insisted that I remember why. As we sit at this precipice of the beginning of 2021, we stand on the edge of this rocky cliff. Political leaders, religious leaders, governments, none of them can tell you who you are. Surrender. It will lift you. It will help you to heal, and it will lift you until you realize that you're flying. And all we have to do is pray and ask for that help to be healed to your very core. The Mother wants to meet you in your own consciousness. I speak for her because she awakened within me.
Piece of me kissed by the fires, like a lover under your disguise. Will you let me stay inside? I have been cast aside, I have been the hero, I have been the prize, and I've been denied. Now you'll see.
There is a gift that lies underneath the pain, the confusion. And if you're only in dialogue with the world as you have known it, you will not get your answers. Nothing will make sense. And that's when many people will spiral down into their own pain and say that it's the fault or the chasm of other people. But if you want to change that, you can only change your own fault, your own chasm of unconscious pain, whether it's from your own life experiences or whether it's passed down to you through your DNA, these unresolved issues, misunderstandings about what this is all about, who we actually are. That's the greatest misunderstanding. So I brought through many, many messages. I didn't know what was happening to me. Initially, I thought, I'm a channel. Am I a channel? Nothing, no explanations have ever felt right here for any of my experiences. The ones who came to keep me awake, shaking me awake. I couldn't find a match for it out there in the world. Oh, did I try? And there are little hints of it. Little hints of truth run through all of this reality, this fake or virtual reality. This is not how you were designed to live. And I speak this with confidence because of my life and my training with this force that woke up inside of me. And this blending was able to occur so that I could begin to feel this love that feeds and nurtures and encourages the soul to be here. The soul cannot arrive, it cannot land in your body until you make room for it. And that's what embodiment is. Embodiment isn't something that we have lengthy discussions about. In fact, there's no time to have lengthy discussions about anything anymore. The mind, the intellect, I should say, has been running the show for so long. And this is a wonderful opportunity right now to welcome more of your soul into your body so that you have that inner guidance. You know who you are and what you want. And you act from love, not anger, confusion, rage, defensiveness. That is all stuff that is triggered. And I've shared this many times before, and it's come through the messages of the past that I translated. Basically said, you're coming to a time where if you do not have this healed within yourself, it will be used against you. Those who are blind and cannot see their own wounding will be tricked. You must, in this timing, be able to discern what is true and what is not true. There are loops of disinformation occurring, and it is growing. At some point, each and every one of you will have what many of you refer to as a meltdown. And from our view, a meltdown is the melting of the framework, the context in which you have all developed very carefully over time. And this context and framing is developed mostly through conditioning, whether that is in your families or in your cultures, in your countries, your nations, your religions, your politics. It is all designed to keep you encased within this system that you are informed is freedom, and it is in fact not freedom at all. Many of you, for the most part, have only received glimpses of truth. And you would in the end refer to it as a crazy mystical experience, or I was taken by these strange beings and I was on a spaceship and crazy, crazy stuff. What did you learn? If these contactees do speak truthfully, And courageously, they will let you know that nothing was received or taken in or comprehended with the intellect. It is later that the intellect kicks in and has been trained to reduce this expansive new experience and understanding into language and into existing context and framing. This is where it gets confusing. This is why we have emphasized many times and continue to emphasize now that when you are listening to messages such as these, your feeling nature must be active. There must be an ongoing intent to leave, depart from the smaller practice of intellect in this 3D realm, and to acclimate, adapt to your feeling language, your feeling, knowing, understanding. This is where your data resides. Notice when this type of information is presented to you, how you react to it. If you are frustrated because you are not perceiving enough intellectual data, logic, facts, in order to keep your interest, because that is what you are used to receiving, then you will not comprehend the spherical nature of this wisdom. There is an infinite amount of data that is available to you. And it comes in, as you have referred to, the spaces in between your words. Now, the new, as we say, new to you, forms of mediumship and communion, referred to as channeling in the past, and we refer to it as communion, quantum communion at this time, there is a switching on of this new pathway, this wide open pathway with your heart consciousness to perceive data that does not need to be reduced to words for you to understand. You have the capacity, every one of you, to absorb this field of data, of wisdom, of love. You absorb it through your skin, through your bones, your blood. All of your wiring is in place to instantaneously understand.
And basically, it boils down to, in these times, are you one who can be tricked? Or are you one whose eyes are open? You can see. And your ears are activated. You can hear. In a multidimensional way, you are informed by love, rather than reacting to fear.
and projecting that fear onto others. You're only seeing yourself. So why not choose joy at this time? The ones who have managed humanity in their unconscious states, they know this. And they're doing their darndest to keep you unconscious. Because that's how they profit. That's how they built this reality, this strange, fake world. But also in this sea of potentiality between worlds, you have never been more empowered to be who you are and to create what you want. If you can feel it, if you can perceive it, if there's room for the real you, the true you, to come home to the body on earth. Just in being exposed to the variety of platforms for spirituality in this lower matrix world. Those platforms tell you that you are, for the most part, a sinner, in the religious sense. The institutions that have gone off track, let's say, they say, if you went to church and you followed these rules that were dictated to you by other human beings, translated incorrectly from truth, pure and resonant with original source creator, they said that in these times there would be, the rapture, and that because you've been good, you would float up into the sky and be saved and protected. Everything is upside down in this reality. And if you're truly waking up, you begin to see that everything is opposite. For example, what people think is the rapture and ascension is actually bringing your soul home to your body on earth and connecting to actual earth, not the pretend one that you were born into. Well, actually, you weren't born into it. You were brought into it through the conditioning and the programming, because your parents and their parents and their parents were also born into it and told, here's how life works. And they're teaching you through their own experience. And most of that experience has been very painful, very traumatic, with moments of joy. But one of the things that this presence informed me of once I reactivated my body, my core, I was able to hear it. And it informed me that life is meant to be joyful, with perhaps, as we reorient to this joy, we may have glimpses of pain or misunderstandings. But once we're right side up again, we may not know what we're navigating into because it's wholly new to us. Perhaps ancient ancestors, very ancient ancestors, experienced wholeness on earth. But we have the opportunity to restore this right side up, whole, human, to align with our original state, to align with our original design. Our original design got tinkered with, perhaps, but what has not changed is the mother within you, this pure divine spark that lies buried under all of the misunderstanding, all of the disinformation, all of the pain. And this is how this reality, this false reality, is perpetuated, because you are not making room for the Father, Spirit, and the Mother to meet again. That will restore you to the truth of who you are, so that you may bring this heaven onto earth through you in your own unique way. Whatever you're inspired to do, to be. And yet it gets a little tricky, because who are you? How do you define yourself without the culture that you grew up in? The rules, the laws that man made, separate from universal law. This is what that phrase, know thyself, is about. So it's important that we begin to say to ourselves, okay, that world that I lived in before is gone. It's over. It's not coming back. So who am I? What do I love? What excites me to the core? What do I want to build, to create, to celebrate? How can I let this light through in the greatest way possible and collaborate with others and just dance into these greater possibilities? I'm just here saying, don't waste this opportunity by refusing to heal the wounding within you, that which makes you angry, that which triggers you. And that's a gift. If you're triggered, you're enraged, and you feel like a victim, then that's the perfect entry point to sit down and pray the way that I was taught to pray from this presence, was just simply sit down and tell the truth about what you feel, not what you think. It's so crazy simple that it was not something that people were interested in. They liked their minds, they liked their stories, they liked their identities. I don't explain things in the ways that they're used to things being explained to them. I don't use language in the old world. I don't practice the way, I don't lead people down old pathways. I invite them into new pathways, which might feel uncomfortable and strange and foreign, like ETs did to me. And this presence, yeah, it was pretty damn foreign. But it's time to allow some of these aspects of our consciousness to return. They're tapping us on the shoulder and coaxing us in the direction of expansion. And because expansion is not defined, it terrifies people. And And instead of embracing that terror and saying, what is this about? I'm here and I choose love and I choose to understand this. Help me to walk into the light that I am so that I may reorient and remember the gifts that I have to share. But rather, if there is unconscious, unresolved pain, it's like glue. It sucks you back down this pit of misunderstanding, of upside downness. If we're not willing to be honest about everything that we feel, then that glue still has power to suck you back down. So making everything consciousness on a feeling level is what begins to break the spell. And we cannot break the spell that we are collectively under unless we commit to breaking that spell within our own consciousness. We cannot have expectations and demand that for instance, our leaders behave in a certain way out there if you're still behaving unconsciously in your own life. It's a direct reflection. And the ones who have profited from your unconscious state are full of glee right now that you are fighting with them, that you are enraged and angry. That's the whole point. If they can keep your rage directed, pointed in the areas they want to point it into, then they can still use your energy. They can still profit from the power of human beings. So, as the messages I've translated in the past, about this coming time, it was very clear. If you do not wake up and realize who you are and come home to earth, to the true earth, then you will be giving permission unconsciously to those who have plans to continue to harness your power. But if you are to truly connect the Father and the Mother again, the heart of heaven and the heart of earth, just by being that, you destroy these patterns of control. Because you're here. You are owning it. You are embodying it. You are it. Instead of thinking it is going to come from religion and politics and everything is upside down, we turn ourselves right side up again by engaging and dialoguing with this source light. It shows us the way. The wounding is so great with the mother, even for all those people who've done all this work around trauma. Congratulations. And there's another layer to go, and that is to awaken the mother. It's our job to awaken the mother. It's our job to use our will to do so. It's up to us. Nobody's going to rescue you. There is no God sitting on a cloud in the heavens saying, oh, just a little while longer, and I'll yank you up through the rapture. No. You have to awaken to this extraordinary power within you that is love. You have to be courageous enough to realize that you're the one that can make this happen. And it's not going to happen outside in the world until this reversal, this shift occurs in your own consciousness, and you remember what you are connected to. And then poof, this lower dimensional reality is gone because there's nothing to power it. And so then what do we experience? We experience expansion. And we all learn together how to do this, how to work together in love in this vibrant new landscape. So, getting back to what I was saying early on, who are you? What do you want? If you can get to that space, take away everything that you used to attach to with identity, person, place, and thing from the old world, and answer that question in essence. If you can do that, and you can get more and more clear each time you dialogue or pray, then you will feel yourself being pulled forward into expansion. If you still have remnants of fear as you're being pulled forward, that's okay. It will make itself known, and you can resolve it very quickly. So let's come back to the present moment and dialogue. Let's say what's true. Always speak what's true, not in rhetoric, not in anything you learned from outside, but with what is real. What are you feeling? This is everything. It is at the core of everything that I was taught by initially what I thought was ET or interdimensional beings or angels. You know, none of those labels matter because they're labels from a world which doesn't exist anymore. So how do we define these things as we move forward? That's the joy of it. Who are you? What do you want to create now? How do you want to collaborate with others? This doesn't happen by sitting down and thinking and strategizing. It happens through pure inspiration, because this river of inspiration can find you and flow through you. The work that I'm excited about is allowing this flow and adapting to it, greater and greater frequency of this flow. This is what my life has been about since the practice was given to me, and I've been practicing this every day, and especially on Sundays. I am devoted to spending the day, if need be, with this presence. I'm excited about just how much joy am I able to be. I've been adapting to this for years. I know there are others too who know what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain it to them because they're here to do this work as well, this work of saying, hey, I'm not here to talk at you. I'm here to tell you what direct experience taught me and how I apply it and what I've learned through the application of it, what I know by heart. I talk often about this body being an instrument. It's like when you're learning a new instrument or you're learning the dance. for instance. I know there are a lot of other examples I could use, but it feels awkward when you start like, I'm going to play this instrument. And it's not, it's like you're using your thinking mind. You're reading what other people, okay, they said, place your fingers here on the strings and then do this with your right hand. And okay, oh God, it sounds like shit. I give up. We've all been there, right? But for the ones who keep it up, who know that they can sync with this instrument if they just keep practicing. And that's the opportunity that we have now with our bodies, and to be embodied for the first time in these lives that we're living right now. We are the ones who came here to do this. My advice or my guidance that is not mine as Eileen, but is the guidance of the inspiration that fills me. The guidance is, let go of everything that you thought was real, that you were taught from the world. Let go. And if there was truth in what you learned and agreed was reality, then it will arrive again as you jump off that cliff and you spread your wings. This air of inspiration will lift you. This is where we are right now. It's a choice, and it's a very personal choice. I cannot emphasize this enough in what I learned and applied, even though it was a very lonely path. This is my contribution now, is to speak to you from these new landscapes. I'm speaking to you from pure potentiality. This is the beginning of the pathway to your return to wholeness. Your feeling nature must be embraced. This is where you reconnect with your source. Source frequency, the field of all that is. So, in your history, there were some choices made that were designed to divert you from your potentiality, your infinite possibilities. A game, if you will. And you are now awakening to this realization that you have been diverted momentarily from your truth. These messages that are being offered in this way, they are not beings and entities from far away. This group consciousness is as close as it gets. These messages come from within this human who has unlocked these deeply embedded codes within. Now, you may ask the question, is this DNA? For you have always referred to DNA when speaking of codes. indeed, this evidence can be found here. And there is so much more within the human body that you have not, let us say, unlocked yet. For these codes are unlocked, again, with your attunement. And attunement occurs with the inclusion of a fully operating, healthy emotional body. As long as you disregard your emotional senses, you are disregarding your spirit connection to this field and to your Creator. So you may find yourself continuing to participate in polarizing stories in your outer world. This will continue to increase until you lose interest, let us say, and you fall. You give up on attempting to be right in a right and wrong scenario, attempting to know the secrets, attempting to unlock the codes in your outer world. And you know who you are, your behaviors, to believe that the unlocking occurs in your outer world. It does not. This is a reality now for most humans that is disappearing. There is no ultimate answer at the end in the outer world reality. It is disappearing so that you go within and you meet your train within that takes you to a wholly new world that is representative of your whole state. You don't have to know with your programmed thinking mind how this works. Let go of that. Let go of everything and surrender and say, I trust in love. And even if I don't always feel it or even understand what love is on a fundamental level in essence, I'm willing to be informed of what love is. I'm even willing to set aside my ego, speak the truth, that I don't know what love is. I thought I knew what love was. And right there is the key to it all. Love, it must be felt, and it must be allowed in to begin the healing process. And again, you are on the threshold of an entirely new potential reality. Which one are you going to choose? Are you going to contract and accept this lower matrix reality and all the definitions that it is most certainly providing to you? Or are you going to humbly state that you do not know the way forward? But what you do know is that you choose love and you are willing. You use your will to state that you're willing to be informed by this love. This is the most empowering thing that I can share with you. That at this point, it is a surrender point. Before you reverse your consciousness, everything out there is a pretend version. It is a false reality. It's not based on your connection to Source, your own truth, your own creative force. It is in that state of consciousness of separation, thinking that the authority is out there. This is the crisis. The crisis has nothing to do with politics. The crisis is in your own consciousness. And will you be available enough to see this as you stand on the edge of this cliff? It is your responsibility. Which reality, which energy, which frequency will you be responding to? Are you available enough to respond to light, to love, to truth within you? You have to choose it with your own will. And this is what rescues the mother. This is what pulls her up and out of this darkness. We, her children, have the power to restore everything to truth once again. That's how much power you have. Will you be a warrior in the false world, or will you be the warrior of light and accept all of your gifts, all of your power to ignite a new world? That's who does it. It's not pre-planned. We're doing it together with awareness, with consciousness, with innocence, with honesty. I invite you to participate in this consciously. Just simply begin by praying. And all prayer is speak honestly and ask for help in knowing thyself. The reason why I do this, why I share in this way, in the variety of forms that I have shared, is because I know what lies in your core. It's in every single one of us. And we have to be willing to dig down and find it and bring it back to life, because it restores us. It restores our world. That's who you are. That's how powerful you are. Begin to allow yourself to feel the presence. Invite it in. Don't be afraid of love. Allow it in. It will begin to vibrate that sticky stuff. What you need to know is that's good. Keep embracing it. Keep talking to it. Be willing to be conscious of all of it instead of running. Like when you're learning a new instrument, you play it a few times and you go, I don't want to do this. That's a choice. But this instrument, this embodiment is a gift, an extraordinary gift. We wake up in this form, in this instrument. It's just the light and the love and the expansion that's possible is way beyond words. So be willing to let go of that old world. That's your freedom. By finding your essence again, finding the truth of who you are through vibration. It is the vibration that lifts you with your wings wide open when you jump off that cliff. Or you can turn back in the direction of the ones who you always gave your authority to, and hope that they value you. I don't need to say any more in that direction because I'm moving with the inspiration. I have my wings spread now and I am flying into this expansive new world that we will all create together. So join me here and let's do this together. Trust. This is happening. My love to you.
The pain has been great as I muster the courage to dust off the fragments of me. And as I reassemble, I note your disapproval as I know